Hello, and welcome to another episode of Critical Weight Theory. And I'm just going to introduce the topic here. We've all been there before, whether it's a friend, partner, romantic partner, or even a family member. When someone says, "I need space," those three words can stir up a mix of emotions, leaving you feeling confused, anxious, or even rejected. But what does this request really mean? At least most of the time. And how should we respond in a way that respects their needs while protecting our own emotional well being? In today's episode, I'm going to examine what it means when someone asks for space and explore how we can navigate this in a healthy and constructive way. So, what does it mean when someone needs space? When someone says that, they're usually signaling that they need time away from the current situation or a relationship. It's not necessarily about rejection or pushing you away, although it can be. More often, though, it reflects some deeper needs, and that can include things like emotional overload. That might be them feeling overwhelmed, whether it's from the pressures of life, the relationship itself, or personal stressors. Maybe there's something that they're not even sure of what the problem is, but they're still feeling like they need space. People who experience emotional overload often struggle to process everything all at once and need time alone to regain their emotional balance. In moments like these, they might be thinking something like, "Today was just too much, I need some time away from people, some time by myself or whatever." And as someone who is mostly an introvert, I can relate to that pretty much as a general state of affairs. In fact, sometimes I'm tempted to become a proverbial hermit in the hills, maybe a literal hermit in the hills, you know. But a lot of people, they just need time away for clarity. Sometimes people ask for space because they need time to sort through their feelings. They might be wondering, what do I want here, And they need time to sort of examine that. Space can give them the mental and emotional distance to reflect on their thoughts, the relationship, and how they want to move forward. Often maybe they're having doubts about something, and it can be a sign that a relationship is going to end, or it might not be that. Who knows? It could be a desire for independence. In some cases, the request for space is about maintaining, a distance, independence, whatever you want to call it. People can feel suffocated when they feel their sense of self is being overshadowed. So they seek space to reconnect with their individuality, what's truly their own. It can also be about avoiding conflict. Some people need space as a way to prevent escalating tension or arguments. When emotions are running high, distance can offer a cooling off period to reassess and find healthier ways to engage. Of course, it's not always successful, but that is often what they are trying to do. So, how should you respond? Hearing "I need space" might stir up feelings of insecurity or worry. However, the most important thing to remember is that giving someone space is actually a form of respect. So respect their request. When someone asks for space, the best thing that you can do is to honor the request without questioning or pushing for more explanation. As hard as I may feel, respecting this boundary prevents additional stress or conflict. While it can help to prevent it, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that, but it's a step in that direction. So trying to force engagement could make things worse. Often it does, and it'll heighten their sense of pressure or fear if that's the emotion that's there. Maybe hatred is in there, or resentment, or whatever you want to call it. But they're trying to properly contain it because maybe they don't want to feel that hatred or resentment. Maybe they're trying to get over that. So try to communicate understanding, acknowledge their need for space, and let them know you're supportive. You might say something like, "I understand you need time, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk." It's like something straight out of the movies. That kind of reassurance shows that you're not trying to crowd them or bully them, but you're still emotionally available when they are ready. It's a solid approach. So use this time for self reflection. You might have your own issues to sort out, and that can be a good thing. So while they're taking space, use it as an opportunity to reflect on your own emotions and relationship dynamics. Ask yourself questions like, how do I feel about the situation? Or what can I do to improve communication when we reconnect? Self reflection can help you gain perspective and contribute to healthier discussions when the time is right. So don't take it personally, or at least try not to take it personally. I know that can be tricky. We sometimes fail at that, but it's a it's a good approach to it. When someone asks for space, it doesn't necessarily mean they're even unhappy with you. Maybe it's bigger than you. So don't be full of yourself. Don't assume that you're immediately the reason for it. It often has more to do with their personal needs, whatever those are. So instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, remind yourself that this is probably about them managing emotions, not a reflection of your value in their life. And of course, it's a good idea to be patient. You know what they say, patience is a virtue. So giving them the time they need is valuable. While it might be difficult, pushing for quick resolution or contact will likely lead to further tension. Sometimes the best thing we can do is allow the person to come to their own conclusion without interference. Patience is key to respecting boundaries and fostering healthy communication when they're ready to reconnect. So it's largely about the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are good in any relationship, whether personal or professional. It's important to remember that when someone expresses a need for space, they're setting a boundary. By respecting it, you're allowing for a healthier relationship dynamic. However, be mindful of advice that suggests you should immediately cut someone out if they don't agree with your boundaries. While it's important to protect your emotional well-being, maintaining flexibility and empathy in your interactions can often lead to better outcomes. So maybe if you're the one who needs space, understand why some people might not understand that. So that's another little piece of advice that I think gets lost in the shuffle. So I'm wrapping things up here. In relationships, when someone asks for space, it can feel unsettling, but it's also an opportunity for growth, both for them and for you. By respecting their need for space, communicating your understanding, and using the time for self reflection, you're not only supporting their emotional process, but also contributing to the long term health of the relationship and your own health, potentially. So remember, space doesn't necessarily equal rejection. It's often a tool for emotional healing and clarity. It can be a good thing. So that's it for today's episode. If you found uh, this episode helpful, go ahead and subscribe and share your thoughts with me. And remember, respecting boundaries is key to nurturing any relationship, even when the boundaries are hard to understand. So, see you next time. Have a good one.